Thanks for coming. My name is Mike Valerino. I'm with the Akron-Cleveland Association of Realtors, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you Clint Skutchan. Clint is a Colorado native who currently resides in Fort Collins, where he enjoys the lively college atmosphere, craft beer culture, and mountain biking. Clint has been the CEO of the Fort Collins Board of Realtors for 5 years. He was the 2013 chair for the National Association of Realtors Association Executive Young Professional Network and a current member of the Association Executives Committee. Clint.
Well, thanks. Thanks, Mike. I really appreciate it. This is really cool for me because I've done presentations for other association execs, and that's always neat, and I'm going to move around, so I hope that's okay. I don't like the podium thing. I want to interact with y'all, but to be able to do this and present to folks that actually do what I do is pretty unique and interesting, and my hope is to be able to convey some things here today that are pertinent to you because I know how you do things day over day, or at least have a general concept of that. I will say this, I'm pretty tightly wound. If you know me, you should know that. I'm going to move quick. I'm going to go through this, but don't worry about taking photos of the slides and all of that. There are a number of ways in which you can access all of these resources. I'm going to give you a number of tools today, but I've also created an Evernote shared page that you can go into. You can click on for all the resources. There's tutorials. There's a variety of different resources, reads, those types of things. So what I want you focused on here today and thinking through is the things that I'm sharing with you. How can you apply them? Because I know that's ultimately what matters most. So, how many of you thought you were here today to mostly hear about this? Technology. We're going to go all through technology. Well, as some of you are probably realizing, we're going to do a little bit more than that today. Do I have audio? There we go. We're going to talk about the bacon. It's all about the bacon, ultimately. And some of you who got in early enough actually have some little treats. I promised folks that you would get something from my presentation that you've never gotten from any other presentation. If nothing else, some of you have bacon to take away with you, and it's candied. And though I am from Colorado, I promise you it only has in it bacon and brown sugar. I know some of the other jokes. I went by the guard dog and DIA on my way out of town. I passed the test. Although I will say it's a little unnerving carrying a bag of bacon under your arm and being single-filed into a thing so that the dog can sniff you. So anyway, I only say this in jest. Why is it really all about the bacon? I'm going to share some great tools and technology, but ultimately it's about the relationships. And I want to acknowledge one of my colleagues who's here today, and this whole concept came up around a fire last year at AEI. My friend Stacy, who's up here in the front. Stand up, Stacy. So Stacy and I were talking, and I'm a process kind of guy. When you have difficulties with your members, I'm a process guy. I want to have reasons to say no to my member when I have to. Ultimately, I don't like to. But I'm thinking I like to work through processes and come up with ways to solutions that are kind of process-based. And we were talking about difficulties that we're having as you do at AEI. And she says to me, so here's what I do. And she's been doing this for longer than I have. Is that when I'm having a really big issue with my committee, I have a kitchen. And so what I'll do is I'll go to the market and I buy the very best bacon. And I will go in before that committee meeting and I will cook that bacon. And so they walk into the room and it smells of bacon, and their demeanor has completely changed. And she said the first time she did this, it was on a really intense issue, the meeting went smoothly. So ultimately it really is, when you do this, you've got to remember, it's about the people, right? It's about how we create our cultures, how we foster people's interaction. It's really about enhancing your professionalism, increasing your productivity, and or improving those relationships and processes. So we're going to get into that. So a little bit about me. I am a kid from Colorado, lived there all my life. My family raised this amongst other crops. Again, please keep your Colorado comments to yourselves. We also had one of these shops. We own snowmobiles, motorcycles, those types of things. I am an only grandchild. My daughter is an only great-grandchild. Can you imagine that? I am a member of this generation. I was raised in large part by members of this generation. I'm spending a large majority of my time adapting to a business atmosphere and a professional atmosphere that is generated based off of these folks. But now I'm told that I am actually supposed to be preparing for these folks because they're coming in droves and I must adapt to their way of doing things. I love this stuff, obviously, right? This is actually your bacon. I fixed that for you, see? So it's really a tender touch that it came from the heart here. I also love this. I'll also eat this. I prefer that my food comes from here. That's actually my backyard garden. Whenever it's possible, of course, we don't have the year-round growing season that some do. And whenever I'm on the coast, I try to get as much of this as possible, so this has been a great place for me. When I was 19, I had this. It was the worst and the best thing to ever happen to me in my life. I would not be the person I am today standing in front of you were it not for this. I graduated from Colorado State University with honors in this town, Fort Collins, Colorado, in sociology, which means I know how to do this. Pretty excited about that, right? We all need this skill. I started out my professional career doing talk radio in the mornings. 10 years of that. Before moving into association work, I worked with these folks first. I was in the Doctors Association. I moved to the Fort Collins Board of Realtors about 6 years ago. I work with these folks now. I have this certification, have this certification. This is what I'd probably prefer to do right now rather than talking to you all, as much fun as it is, but this is one of my favorite things on the planet to do. I couldn't live a day without music. I love music. Come into my office, you'll know. My music is on. My members understand that, and honestly, it creates a lot of opportunities for conversations. Amazingly, a lot of folks like Johnny Cash. This is my favorite band on the planet. I just happen to be in the great state of Maryland where they're from, so you probably don't know them. They're the best band you've never heard of. But I can also karaoke every song from this guy thanks to my grandfather. I wake up most mornings to start my day this way. It's a healthy start, I know. I like to do this. So I can do this, and especially this. This is from my hometown. It's one of our breweries there. We have a number of them. It's a part of our culture. It's on the front page of our Sunday paper today. A new brewery is open. Odell Brewing, great place. But I'm not above it. I'll drink this too. Doesn't make me a hipster. I've been drinking it for years. I'm a guy that sees the world. I use this operating system because I mostly see the world this way, and I feel like Google does a really good job of saying, here it is, world, take it in and use it. And that's kind of what I'm here today for. This lunatic, I love. This nut job cracks me up. They're two of my favorite people on the planet. This little one right here is a lot of why I do what I do and the way that I do it. And before I leave this planet, I'd like to write a book about this, the theory of everything, based on my vortexial continuum theory I developed in college. If you want to talk to me about it over beers, I would be happy to do it for hours at a time. Why did I do this? Images are very, very powerful. Branding is very, very powerful, and I want to start with this, and it should kind of underlie a lot of what you do. But before you do that, I want to have you answer this question. But before you do that, here, I want to show you something that I saw while I was here that made me question how you do it. So I don't know if you can read this or not, but for those who are staying across the street, your hotel has this in the lobby. It says, I'll read it so you can't see it. The duck is a universal symbol of versatility and adaptability. I could read on, but go ahead and raise your hand if you've ever thought, adaptability, versatility, the duck. It's universal. If you have to tell someone it's universal, it's probably not, right? So, think about this. Your brand should be who you are and what you are without convincing. You shouldn't have to tell folks something is important when it's not. And a duck, I mean, honestly, I bet his wife liked it, and so they put it on the logo, and then they found this out in the marketing department. So but while you're there, I would like you to just think through, what images would you use to convey your association's brand? This just so happens to be the ones that we use for mine here. It's been recognized. We're actually in Jerry Matthews' latest book in here. You can read about it in here. We call it our SANE approach. It's success via advocacy, networking, and education. It's based around our 3 core service areas. So take a moment. I want this to be, again, interactive and intentional. So take a couple moments and write down, what is your brand? What does that look like? And because images are so powerful, right? I just did that thing, and you probably know more about me than I could have ever had Mike explain in a 25-minute intro. Just through the branding. That's how powerful brands and images are. So take a moment, and anyone willing to share, let me know. Raise your hand. I'll be happy to hear you. Do we have a handle? Does anyone want to share? What's your association? If you could pick one brand, one image, one thing that would convey your value to your members, would it be a duck? Universal, you know. Anyone? Any takers? You're all nervous back here? I'm just saying, I brought bacon this morning. I mean, there's something to be said for that, right? Maybe.
We recently changed our name for the association, and it's like a woman getting married and changing her name. Oh, my God. But anyway, we had to then, of course, address the issue of a logo. And we have a graphic artist that we've used over the years, and she's excellent. And we didn't really want a particular logo. We just wanted to just say something about us. And so I just turned it over without a lot of direction other than that. And what we got back was the sun over the mountains. And it's exactly what we want to say. Not sun rising, not sun setting, but the sun in full view over the mountains. And that's what we cover in Colorado. I'm one of his colleagues, of course. And it tells so much. Every time we look at that, I know what I wanted with it, but our members look at that and say, yeah, that's us. Oh, that's fabulous. Wonderful. Who did that for us? Those kinds of questions. And if you get that kind of response, you know you did the right thing.
Thank you. So I'm going to make you all share along the way, so you might as well pay attention now, write down your thoughts. But think about this, and as you're going through this, I want you to be writing things down. So let's get into the meat of this. Prezi, I'm using Prezi here, so talking about the presentation aspects, and this is, you're going to kind of see some of the usages that I value in Prezi. And for those who are unfamiliar with Prezi, I thought I'd start with the video.
Prezi is a cloud-based presentation software that uses a single canvas to visualize information just like a whiteboard. When presenting, you can control a moving camera to zoom in on certain sections of your information in any order you choose. Prezi gives you the unique ability to show an overview of all your content at once, which allows you to tell a visual story with depth and allows your audience to easily remember your information. Learn how to create a themed or templated Prezi, import existing PowerPoint presentations into Prezi, create a meeting to present to multiple users in real time, face-to-face or remotely, and more.
To sharpen your...
So there's a lot that you can do with this. The one thing that I want to say, they show you can just import PowerPoint. What I would say is, don't approach Prezi with a PowerPoint mentality. So I was a circle yesterday, and I don't fit that at all for the most part, although I'm kind of one of those folks that's got duplicitous of mind, so I never know what I am. But this thing has depth to it. So be thinking about that, how you tell your story. And more in particular, it's non-linear. Think about it as a non-linear story. And honestly, what do we do that's really linear? I mean, we have cycles every year. We go through people, and sometimes they come back even when we don't want them tried. We'd like to get them on a linear path. But it's not that type of a presentation. You've got to think about it in those terms when you approach it. So it's not PowerPoint. It is shareable. It's online. Again, this presentation itself will be online. It's in your Evernote resource, so you can go there. You can look at it. But it's great for presentations. Pictures, video, you'll see that kind of demonstrated. They have great diagrams, even if you're not really wanting to do a presentation for everyone. Last year, the AEYPN group, we wanted to be able to explain to kind of potential recruits coming in, what are the 10 things about our world that makes us kind of unique and different. And we used the Prezi kind of as the basis for that, and had a little world around it, and just told our story. And so there's some great fun utilities. You can do voiceovers, and there's this, which is cool. Immediately, I feel more awesome when this is playing behind me, right? Who wouldn't want to walk around to the Star Wars theme everywhere they go? So anyway, how do you actually use this? Here's how I use it. So we've gone through this restructuring plan over the last 6 years, and we have what we like to focus in as a measured and strategic approach. So I take this, I've turned it into a 5-minute presentation with the Prezi. Again, it has depth of mind to it. These are just the templates. I use a lot of the templates. I don't get too fancy with the backgrounds. It's about the content and what you can do with the storytelling. I did this for my managing brokers, and they said, I understand now more about your association in 5 minutes than I've known in 15 years. It's pretty powerful, right? I use it in my new member orientation. Do you think the 28-year-old in my class is a little bit more alert and comes to when I do this as my presentation rather than rolling out the standard PowerPoint? And for those who were in the room before me, as he was concluding, the previous speaker, he talked about the lone nut video. That's how I start my orientation. I get them loose, and this is great for embedding videos. I mean, it really makes integration with YouTube really easy. I use it for my board of directors orientations. It's an outline for how they present. And then, of course, we do it for our events. And it's just a little nicer feel. Our sponsors seem to love it. So, again, The exercise here being, how can you use this? What presentations do you do at your association that would be better with this format? And what would you do to help present these things that would be better understood with depth? And I'll give you a couple minutes to write things down here. And really, it says write the first 3 things that come to mind. Don't think too much about it. Is it organizational, structural, whatever? What is it that you can do? And then I've given you the tools to go back and to actually be able to do this. Does anyone want to share? I have a microphone, and I will use it. Anyone? That's good for me. I haven't exercised for a few days.
One of the things we just started implementing at our new member orientation, each member of staff, the head of a department, will come in and talk about what we do that relates to the membership and how it affects them. I'm communications director and pro standards administrator, so I beg them not to unsubscribe, and I scare them about the complaint process. And I don't usually use a presentation because I hate PowerPoint, but something like this would absolutely keep their attention and help me stay on track.
Yeah, and soften the edges on what is a very important service, obviously, but no one ever thinks they're going to use it, therefore they shouldn't have to pay attention, right? Great. Anyone else before I move on? Cool. All right, so Excel can be a Pizzazz additive as well. Now, I don't encourage you that you go out and do this. I'm not that adept at using Excel, but I suppose. Yeah, Kip?
Just back up, Brett, you're off Prezi now.
Yeah, I'm going to move on, but if you got a question.
Yeah, just on Prezi. On Prezi, one of my issues with it is I just get overwhelmed. So I love what it does. I've seen one of your presentations in the past, but when I went from nobody that had used it before to actually installing the program and starting down that path, I ended up frustrated and went back to PowerPoint because of time constraints. How is it that you approach it? Because I got so overwhelmed with everything that I was putting out and presenting and how it moved from transition to transition. What are the ways that you break it down so that it doesn't become an overwhelming obstacle to completing a project in a timely fashion?
Well, I think that's the thing is there's a learning curve with it. I mean, and there's several of these things I'm going to show you. There's going to be a learning curve with it, and I'll tell you that up front. So take on that smaller project. Don't do it for your largest membership meeting of the year where you need to throw all the bells and whistles and you're going to have 833 people in the room staring at you. So find maybe an internal staff offering. Take one of your documents, mess with it there, kind of play with one of those.
You know what I mean by overwhelming?
Yeah, it is. It's bigger. Again, it takes you from thinking in that linear, and it makes you look in a world like this, and it moves, and it does.
So where do you start?
Yeah.
Once you have all that?
Use their templates. Their templates are very good. Find a basic one and give that a whirl. And there's like I said, I've got some great kind of tutorial videos, but it's a learning curve for sure. Anyone else before I move on? All right. So Excel can add Pizzazz, and the reason I say this is because it really gives you the opportunity to present data in a way that's digestible for board of director members. I mean, how much information do you have that really you know about, staff's aware of, but you couldn't have amount of time, or you wouldn't want to have an 18 to 20 page outline within your agenda to explain it. So we're using it to track things like member numbers year over year, new realtor members, just this. Again, it gives you that baseline level of how are we performing. And how many of you, because I feel like I've heard this 18 times this weekend, how many of you have board of directors that are just in the weeds? Love minutia. Bring the minutia. Heap it on me. Well, if they love minutia, give them minutia, but the type of minutia that you want them to focus on. Because if it becomes other types of minutia, those things become personalized, shall we say. So give them the type of minutia you want them focused on. Track your income and expenses year over year. Do projections. So again, we're going through a significant financial discussion right now back home. I'm able to project out where we're going to be year end on our reserves. I wouldn't have been able to do that 3 years ago. So when my board came to me and said, hey, where are we going to be at? I'd have been scrambling. But now, because we're tracking data over time, we're actually able to report this out. How do we do that? And these templates are available on the Evernote, so don't feel like you have to write it down. For me, I have those 3 core service areas that I alluded to. We track and we do dashboard reports every month to our board of directors. So this is our advocacy report. And in here, you'll see things like interactions with members, the number of hours that we spend, the amount of funds that we're raising, and then we actually track our performance based on positions that we take with city council issues. And, it's a pretty simple scale. You can use it yourself. But again, data. And we're compiling this month over month. It's a part of our process now. We do it for education. In particular in education, how many hours of free education are you offering? Do you know this? Do you know what percentage of your education is free versus your overall education? And more importantly, do your members know that? Mine do now. They didn't before. The number of interactions, we track interactions committees, education, events, whatever it is. An interaction, a lot of folks are going through that turnstile 3-4 times. Does that matter to me? No. I want to know I had that interaction. We're tracking that. And in particular in networking, this becomes very important. We're tracking the number of those types of things. And then, just in these reports, we also include some of the non-trackable items, just some of the things we're doing. This is so, again, my board of directors don't spend a lot of time talking about the past 3 months. Like it used to be, we used to get reports and committee reports, and we had an hour and a half of committee reports talking about the things that we did 3 weeks ago. Doesn't help them make decisions moving forward. But now they have the data. And for those that don't like the minutia, what does this do? If you do the minutia month over month, it gives you systemic, organizational measurement at the end of the year, and it makes it real easy to do an end-of-year report. So we take all those numbers and we report them out. And as you can see here, now I go out to my members and I say, and we have about 1,000 members, including our affiliate members. I say, last year we had 3,600 interactions throughout the year, nearly 300 per month. It's much easier to say, why aren't you there, when I have numbers to point to, because nobody goes to those things anyway. Oh, I've got the data. So then it can convert that into an actual year-end report. Take this out, go through. Again, everything we do communications-wise is organized around our 3 core service areas. And we include our basic financials. I believe in accountability, and it's hard. When you start doing this type of tracking, sometimes things don't come in better year over year, like our networking numbers didn't last year. But you know what we're doing this year? Starting to look at strategic plans that actually help our events perform better next year. We use it to engage our member offices. For RPAC, we do office challenges. We put these up on the website. Do you have managing brokers who are slightly competitive? Do you think they might do a little bit more if you put their numbers versus their other office competitors? Think RE/MAX Advanced here is looking pretty good with 100% participation. Think they're talking smack to the other offices? They are. So again, whole concept is, what should you be tracking? What are those 3 to 5 things that you and your association, or your core values, your core services that you should be tracking, knowing about, your board of directors should be able to access, and more importantly, you should be able to tell your story to the members? I'll let you write that down, and then I'm going to move on to video here. All right. Jing. Anybody use Jing? It's a free tool. Okay, let me ask you this a different way. How many of you like in your busy day to have that member in the office interrupt you after that preparation for the board of directors meeting because they couldn't remember the last time you talked about a particular thing in the office, how to do it, and so they come and they get you up out of your planning and they get you to go out to their desk and you're leaning over them going, I really need to be back to my other stuff. Do you like that? Jing keeps that from happening. Jing's a free little thing. It's a great little recorder. It's a short video, but I use it in my office to record tutorials for processes, for different things. Sometimes I'm out of the office and I have some low-tech members of my staff. They don't know exactly how to do it, so I can actually record a Jing video and then email it because it has a URL, so then they actually are getting a tutorial while I'm here. Great little service. It is short. It will only allow up to 5 minutes. If you're looking for something with a longer opportunity, EasyVid is another one of those. But again, think about not, oh cool, I can capture my screen and do a little tutorial. How can I utilize it? And it records what you do. It'll also it'll snap pictures. How many of you have an affiliate member that sponsors an event that likes to yell at you about not having their logo up on the promotions, and yet they forgot to send you the logo? They forgot that part of it. You can go and steal their logo off their site. If you're in the crunch, you can go, you can use Jing, do screen capture, edit it down, utilize that. So again, sometimes they're not always as efficient as they could be. All right, BombBomb. Anyone using BombBomb? Excellent. They were supported by NAR last year as a startup, really cool company. They happen to be in Colorado. I know Darren personally. He's a great guy, oversees the company. In fact, if you guys have cards, get them out. I'll collect them at the end. I'm going to do, Darren gave me free years membership up to 500 members. I think it's like a $300 value. So if you give me your cards, at the end I'm going to do a drawing, and I'll just alert you after the class for time savings. So BombBomb, for those who are unfamiliar, it's basically email video. And they integrate it and they optimize the video so that it's great on all the handheld devices, whatever browser they're looking at it in. The thing about this is that I want to express to you, if you're going to do video, short, personalized, and informational with aspects of entertainment. And I utilize my members. This is one we were doing an independent member survey. I got my chair-elect, who just happened to be independent members. Do you think the voice message coming from them, we want your input and your feedback, was a little more important than if I asked them? Of course I want to know. That's the nosy guy down there at the office, always trying to do things. We do a Managing Brokers Minute. Do your Managing Brokers read it all? No. Do you think they might take 2 minutes to watch a video? Maybe. But I can guarantee you in 2 minutes I can deliver more information to them about what we're doing in the association than I could in an email that was 6 pages long. So again, another resource. We do monthly our video news for you. We do our e-news each month, but the first Tuesday of the month we're kind of testing this out to see what the video response is. I get my board of directors to deliver this message. Again, personalizing and integrating. They build templates for you. They built this template for me. Awesome. We integrated all my branding, my colors, all those different things. So they're a really great company. Highly recommend them. If you've not looked into it yet, I know some of you are utilizing, I'll just clip the picture and put that in with the URL link. This is different. This is really interactive and they can pull it up. So, any questions about this one before I move on? And what you'll see is I've got on the sheet like a list of different costs. So it depends on the number of users type of thing. So it's scaled. So what you'll see in your Evernote thing is there are little dollar signs next to them. Some are free with upgrade options. Some are more expensive. Most of the stuff I'm showing you is either low or very no cost. So video, there's micro to macro level. How many of you are using Instagram? Instagram for video. So I've got a little one at home, and she has zero interest in Facebook, but she loves Instagram. So again, not that those are coming into the workforce, but you always are looking at this kind of up and coming. Instagram, Vine's another one of those, but you do these little 6 to 15-second videos, and again, don't think about them as linear. Think about them as circular. In particular, if you're at an event, do you think one of these little guys around the room, and it loops, is going to have more impact than a standstill picture? So be thinking about how micro video can be utilized. Flipagram. Flipagram takes your pictures and kind of turns them into a video. It's integrated and works a lot with Instagram. Very cool. Google+. Everybody who really uses it, right? I really wish Google could get it. They have one really, really cool thing, and they don't utilize it. It's called AutoAwesome. Who's takes a bunch of pictures and like has a Google Plus account and all of a sudden there's snow falling in your picture because there's snow, or it's animating it? It's awesome. It doesn't integrate very well with other social media services. They are missing the boat. So if the Google reps are here, make that change. I'll show you a tool later that actually does utilize it. Powtoon. How many of you have seen these little cartoon guys? The little animated videos? Powtoon is a free and or low-cost upgrade service. I want to show you one of the things that I utilize it for. But first, for those that are unfamiliar with Powtoon, I want to talk to you a little bit about what it is.
So you know what it's like when you want to impress your clients with an amazing presentation? You take your graphs, add some clip art, and spice the whole thing up with some fancy transitions. But somehow, it doesn't always have the desired effect. So one day you come across one of those super cool promotional cartoons and you think to yourself, wow, something like that would definitely catch my client's attention. But then you find out that it costs like a gazillion bucks to make. So you start scouring the web for a tool that can create extraordinary presentations for free. It's just that nothing out there is just quite the thing you're looking for. This tool just moves pictures around, and this one swivels so much you get seasick. And to operate this one, you have to be a rocket scientist. Wouldn't it be cool if there was a tool that allows you to create professional-looking animated presentations and cartoon-style videos just by dragging and dropping stuff onto a page? Well, now there is. Powtoon is a new tool that is so simple and intuitive, it allows anyone who ever used PowerPoint or Keynote to easily evolve their presentation to awesomeness. Powtoon contains themes of animated characters and crops, which you can just drag and drop onto your slide and create eye-catching and fun presentations that can be presented in person or turned into animated videos with the click of a button to be shared on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Now your presentations will definitely keep your audience hooked. Powtoon brings awesomeness to your presentation.
And who doesn't like awesomeness, right?
Created using Powtoon.
So, it's a cool little tool. I will say that you have to pay to get their logos and the little created by Powtoon off the end of it there. If you're utilizing it the way I am, that's important because while the cartoon elements are nice, it also can diminish the professionalism. And so we heard this morning that NAR is encouraging us to do more interactions with consumers and sharing of market data. Would this be a good way to do it?
Welcome to your January 2014 Housing Report from the Fort Collins Board of Realtors. I'm CEO Clint Skutchan. This month's report will look back on December numbers as well as the year of 2013. Overall, 2013 proved to be a great year for housing in Fort Collins. Home sales and prices were better than the previous year, not only in Fort Collins, but in Colorado and many parts of the country. Foreclosures continue to decline along with the number of homes for sale, and the number of days it took to sell a home were also lower. Multiple offer situations became commonplace again this year, and prices in many areas rallied to multi-year highs. This, of course, varied by location and market segment, but the proverbial glass appeared to be more than half full throughout 2013. For the month of December, new listings were down one.
So, do any of you utilize 10K? Do you recognize this? Did you recognize the script? I took the 10K script, read the 10K script, pulled the 10K reports and dropped them in here, and now I've created a 3-minute video. Now I know they sell a service, so no disrespect to their service, but for me, I'm a small size association, didn't fit my budget, this does. And ideally, I want to move from it just being my voice to, again, my member's voice. 2 to 3 minutes, sharing your entire market data in a video that's interactive and can be fun and have some different elements to it. Worth utilizing? It, again, learning curve, yes, but I tell you, once you're on the other side of the learning curve and you have templates established for this, it's a plug and play monthly. Who would like to have their own free TV station streaming on the internet 24/7? Live stream, anyone familiar? Anyone using live stream? One back there. Live stream, so I just stumbled on this. This is a great tool. It literally is. It gives you the option. Don't get the individual user account. You do want to get the professional account. And what that allows you to do is you literally get a back-end thing and you can stream your content 24/7. In my case, it's livestream.com/FCBR. But in addition to it being a great tool to stream your classes, all those different things, it captures it and automatically puts it into a library. Who would like to do, or at least offer to their members, web-based education? Who would like to spend a lot of extra time in filming and all those other things to do that? Yeah, exactly. So this gives you that opportunity. It captures it, so it'll show. And if you do the free, you're going to get advertisements in it. Again, I'm okay with that. I can live with 30 seconds of advertisement more than charging my members a lot more money to do this. It gives you the interactivity. You can discuss. You can share this on your social media channels as a promotional item. And oh yeah, by the way, do you have some committee meetings that maybe you'd like to be able to go back and review, like some of your government affairs committee meetings and discussions about topics and issues and where maybe your position is going to land? For me, it's important. And last week, I just went back and I had to rewrite kind of a position statement. We hadn't had the meeting for 2 months. I went back and reviewed the whole thing. It's a great resource from that standpoint as well. So I really encourage you to look into this, livestream.com. And again, there's a lot of different options and things that you can do with that. Before I move too far away, does anyone have questions about Livestream? I'm happy to, yeah. Yeah, that's actually where I'm headed now. So yeah, that's how do I do this? Because again, I'm a small association. Do I have a production studio with a green screen? No. Do I wish I had one? Probably. But what I'm doing this with is with a 1080p camera mounted on a tripod, utilizing mostly free or low-cost software. So for me, I use Adobe Premiere Elements. So it has the Photoshop type of capabilities, but it also allows you to do video editing. You can drop logos in over the top. You can put words in and verbiage in. Pretty low cost. So you heard that I did the audio over the top of the Powtoons video. Like Powtoon wants you to pay for that. If you go to Audacity, it's a free audio editing software. You can record yourself, edit it, all the places where you maybe don't use appropriate language because you've done it for the 4th time and didn't get it right. So a movie maker, that's something that's the iMovie. What I'm telling you is it doesn't have to be Hollywood production quality if your content is good. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on it. Can you? And will it enhance it? Yes. But do you have to? No. So I'm going to open it up again. How are you all using video? Are you utilizing it? Micro to macro. Anyone? Back here.
Well, we're using BombBomb for the vehicle to get it out to the members. The other thing we started to do to promote our events is iMovies. And it gets, people love their pictures. And we basically take a string of pictures of the event, iMovies turns into a short video. We use it both as a promo, and then after the fact, we do a short video and then post all the pictures of the event on Flickr and send out the link to that because obviously people love to download them getting the award and all that kind of good stuff. I'm Mark Stone from St. Charles, Missouri.
Awesome. Anyone else? It just has such an emotion to it that you can convey that you could never do elsewise.
We do like a monthly CEO update, and what we use as a content normally is we do a weekly report that has it's like our newsletter. So we've got all the content there, and normally what we'll do is we'll have our CEO do a quick update of what's going on in real estate, and like what you used the one animation software to do. We use Prezi and just do a voiceover, but it's the exact same thing with the 10K. They actually give you a wrap up of what's going on in the market. So all you got to do is just have like the CEO read off that script and then just lay over the audio, and works really well. So
easy to do. Editing, are you doing $14,000 studio quality?
No, we got Premiere, but you could do pretty much the same thing with Premiere Elements. And we actually do have a green screen, but it's really not hard to use. You could go online on YouTube and look up. I'm pretty sure you could replace the green screen and Premiere Elements too, and it's really, it sounds way more complicated than it is, but it's really not that hard to get started, and you could use any kind of webcam or whatnot if you want to. So.
I'm Carol Van Gort from the Realtors Association of the Palm Beaches. We do a lot of this, and we have a new MLS, and the one thing that we found really, which you didn't mention, was Camtasia. And Camtasia records what happens on your computer screen, so you can do a voiceover at the very same time and do it in little short vignettes, and it's a great teaching moment.
Yeah, similar to Jing tool shared earlier. There are other. I'm just showing you some of my favorites, to be honest with you, and there are plenty out there with this regards. Anyone else? Hot topics, big ideas? What's the tool? Camtasia. Camtasia.
Nate Ellis, Contra Costa, Education Director. One of the really cool things that I do is when I come to these meetings, I just take the iPhone and get the updates immediately out to our membership. So whenever you hear something that's going on, these things shoot incredible quality today. So you all have it. You don't need to spend a lot of money on the other stuff.
Yeah, it's important to realize, the technology has become very affordable. All right, I'm going to move on here. I'm running a little behind, but honestly, I didn't anticipate. I'd rather hear from you all, and we all share together, and then again, the resources are going to be there than you just listen to me yammer on. So, who would like to put your association in your members' hands? Everybody, we realize they're going mobile, right? and how do we get there, and how expensive is it, and how hard is it. We have an app. PowerAppsAtWork.com just happens to be a local company that we work with. And before I get into the details, what I want to say is, if you were in here for the prior presentation, talked about mobile-friendly websites. If you don't have a mobile-friendly website, work on that first. Get your house cleaned there. You absolutely have to have mobile-friendly, responsive, design-based websites. Because if the member goes to the website, and I think I heard it yesterday, that you're trying to pinch the little head, it's just not going to work. So make sure that you're working towards that. For me, my vision and why we're so bullish on the idea of having an app for our association is that I see the app as the portal of the future, where members go to access things. And the website's been that for a long period of time, right? And what I hear is, well, not that many people are using the app, so why would you do it? Well, not that many people were using the internet initially, but they got there. And you could see the trend coming, and you see this trend coming. It's the portal. And so we actually have both a member and a consumer-facing aspect to this. So again, we're trying to utilize some of our market data, access to our members, those types of things. In the one that I have, it has a lot of plugins. I manage it myself. It is an initiation fee type of thing, and then a monthly fee beyond that. I sold advertisement, as you can see here, iMortgage. It's actually netting me cash. It's making me money. And so I got a free member resource that's making me money. We do a number of things within here. So for our members, we give them their this month at FCBR, so they can just click on that. Again, a lot of this goes back right through my mobile-friendly website. The importance of having the mobile-friendly website is that when they go into the mobile-friendly, they don't realize they're actually leaving the app. No disrespect to whoever developed the app for the conference, but when I click that, it doesn't feel like an app. I feel like I left and I went to a web page. You don't want to game your people like that. They will notice it and they will question the quality of your app. So monthly housing reports, membership directory, all of our communications are in here. How about the calendars? They can go in and touch this and actually add it right into their phone. Pretty useful, right? Like, I want to get them one touch as much as possible. We also have a submit a question. Our members are obviously mobile. They don't always have the ability, so if they're out in the field and they have a question related to the lockbox, we have a button on there. They can touch the button. It sends us an MP3 and we can respond to it. Still working on the utilization of that, but the people that have used it have been very, very happy with it and like the response.
How do you view that to your staff?
You set it up on the back end of which emails you want it to come to. When they send it, it comes so for me it goes to all my staff, so the most pertinent person can respond to it immediately. Push notifications, we have that ability with web URL links, those types of things. The thing about this is you can't treat it like your email. You can't spam them. You need to be selective in how much you push out and what you're pushing out and how much value it adds for them. Any questions on that mobile app? And again, I'm learning and I'm growing, but I'd rather be learning and growing as everyone else is rather than to come to the game after everybody else is established and try and figure out my way.
I really want to create an app, and primarily maybe for registration of events and things. You have a calendar, but can they register?
They can. Again, it kicks them through my website.
It goes back to the website. That's fine.
And
that's fine, right?
Mobile website, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the ability to control the look, the feel, all of this. I have the back end. I don't have to send it off to some person who's in India that's going to take 16 weeks and probably not understand my request in the first place. I have complete control over what's in my app, the buttons that get displayed. So, for example, I have buttons on the front page that get changed out. So I have our new complete 2014 education calendar. I have our most updated housing reports. I do our end-of-year requests. I can change these buttons on this front page at any time. So when I'm having an event and I want to do a survey, get the app, just push on the survey tab. Again, it goes back through my website. But one touch, portal. What are the things that your members are utilizing on your website that they could be accessing from the hand? I'm going to move on, just for sake of time. How many of you do significant events in the year that require mobile apps? Who knows about EventJoy? Exmo. Ever heard of that? EventJoy is formerly Exmo, and the reason I say this, I did learn a lesson with working with this. When you're an early adopter and you're working with a new company, sometimes they sell the day before you do your event. But to their credit, didn't miss a beat. I got to talk to Todd at EventJoy, and I'm going to give you some information here in a moment. This is a great little event app. It is free now. They were in a kind of a scaled model, but what they're doing is they're actually now trying to compete with the likes of those who are like Eventbrite, and so they're doing the registration piece, so they're making their money now off the registration piece. If you're not doing a registration part, this can be a complete and total free app for your event. And I don't know about you, but when I look at this is exactly everything that I need my people to know. And it performed very, very well. We had a recent event with over 500 people, and it performed very, very well. So you think my sponsors liked having this inside of the app with like links to them and all their social media profiles? And again, the backside of this is super, super easy. My speakers, I was able to highlight profile, just like you would expect. All the conference things that, typically you're seeing these things costing you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to do. This app can be available to you for free or very low cost. Session feedback, surveys, agenda, all the things that you want. EventJoy. So, Todd, I told you, I know the guy. They're on that scale, that level. Todd, great guy, out of Florida. Told him I was going to do this. So he said, anyone who will email him and gets going, said you heard about it here, $125 service fee. So what that is again, they're charging the service fees if you are doing event registration. So if you've got an event, and beyond just the app itself, they have a website, like an actual event website that is based off the input of the data that you put into your app. So they are going for a comprehensive event planning app. You can do your app. They have promotional flyers that you can send out. They have a website, and you can do registration all within one service provider. Pretty cool? So again, write this down, and if not, you can go back and access the PowerPoint, or rather the Prezi. Any Q&As just in general about apps? So the question is about frankly, our membership database system, we use Vectra. No disrespect to them or any others, but I'm finding that the integration with Nerds and all these other things and all the third-party platforms, I'm starting to wonder whether I even want to be there and whether I'd be better off using these online providers, these service providers, and paying their fees rather than paying the $2,000 whatever it is a year I pay. I could utilize those fees elsewhere and get a higher level of service. So Eventbrite, those types of things, and EventJoy, they make me be able to do the events and sign people up way easier than going through my thing that goes through Nerds and all these other things, right? So I'm trying to figure that out. If anyone has a solution, please let me know. But I would like to stop paying these folks. I can manage my membership database internally very easily. So there are just a few elements that I'm not able to do, but I'm pretty sure there's some third-party platforms out there that if I integrated, I could do it. Any other questions? Oh, sorry. Oh, the question is, what company did I use to create my app? They're called powerappsthatwork.com. And again, there's links in your overall printout there with through the Evernote. But it's powerappsthatwork.com. Again, just a local guy. I just happen to know him, and a great integration and plugins, and it plugs into your social media, all these different things on the back end. I backed this up to the end because I wanted to make sure I covered all these things up to this point. I'll kind of give you some extra things from here on out that I think are of value, but giving your print publications some life. How many of you are still doing a lot of print publications or PDF-driven publications? A lot, and it's good, and you should be. How many of you are familiar with Issue? It's a free online magazine flip technology. It takes your PDF and makes it feel more like a magazine. They're a really great resource. I utilize it for a number of different things. And the best part about this is, how many of those PDFs do you really, unless you want to dig through your analytics on your website, do you actually get data on of how many people are viewing it and for how long and all that? Probably not very much. When you put it into Issue, it's super easy, uploads easy. It gives you these types of data reports, and I'll talk a little bit about it after this.
Explore a wide variety of stunning magazines, documents, reports, and unique publications from around the world. Issue is a simple and intuitive service that helps you bring all your documents online, and a new way to enjoy, collect, and share all the documents you like the most. Simply select any document on your computer, and Issue takes care of the rest. It's completely free, and seconds later you have a beautiful online publication. Since your document is digital, distribution is straightforward and completely hassle-free. Millions of readers can discover your work, and detailed statistics help you improve your readership and put a number on your success. You can even use your digital publication on your own website or just about anywhere you like. You decide how it should look, where you want it, and we'll take care of the rest. Issue is simply the best place for publication.
So yeah, you can embed it into your website. So for me, my monthly housing reports, not only do I do in a video format, I take them, I plug them in here. So I have then a downloadable PDF for those that still like that. But this, they can go into, they can flip, they can view it, they can browse it, they can share it. They can do all sorts of things. And then I get to see this. How many of you would like around 5,000 impressions a month on your market reports that you're doing? Would your board of directors like that? Do you think NAR would like to see that, given where we're headed? This is great. So I really encourage you to look into that. I also utilize it then for my end-of-year report. Again, it would be just otherwise in a typical PDF format. This gives me the flip page technology and the embedding ability. So on my website, they can go in and on that page, they can actually flip through it there or they can open it up. A lot of different options with Issue. It is, again, for the most part, free or low cost. I've never paid for anything for it. For my usage purposes, I just utilize it. And for me, the technology related to it's really good. There are lots of other of these flip technology companies out there and some that offer a whole list of options. But again, if you just got some basic reports, I really feel like this is as good as there is out there. Any questions before I move on from that one? So this is my newest project, and I was literally at 1 o'clock in the morning after having fun with networking with my friends last night. I added in, this is my latest project, my strategic group that was looking at our communications. We came up with this. We've got the standard old monthly magazine, and what is it? It's 3 weeks ago, if not more's information in your print publication. We still do a monthly print, and I have volunteers that contribute to it. And you know how hard it is to get them to give their information on a time basis anyway? And then you're like, but when you're writing this, don't write it like they're going to read it now. Write it like they're going to read it next month, but make it interesting and pertinent. They're like, what? So, we've kind of come up with this solution. How many of you are familiar with Flipboard? What do you utilize it for? To look at other people's content? You can create your own content as of March of last year. And so what we're looking at is going to a free current, always current magazine that's available in a multitude of formats. They have a browser version so that people that want to look at it in that capacity can. Obviously, are there in these capacities. You can go and look at my example. Again, we're just starting to develop it. But the idea being all of my streams of communication that are already out there, my website, my social media, my YouTube, all of these other things, in the Chrome browser, there's an add-on that I simply click it to flip it to my magazine. 2 touches and it's into my magazine. I can go into the backside then and rearrange it. I can determine what's my cover and all of that. I can develop a magazine and content and curate content weekly and in less time than it would take me. And moreover, I can tell my volunteers, get me your report when you can. And by the way, write it like someone's going to read it today. Do you think that'll make a difference on their response time and the way in which they write and the amount that they write and what they write?
So how's that archived?
How's it archived?
So if you're going to get rid of that content.
Yeah, you'll have to go back through. You can delete it out. It's just, again, on the back side, you one touch and you're pulling pages out of your magazine or putting them in or rearranging them. Like I say, this is a week and a half ago's idea, but I thought it was something that I wanted to share with you all. So we have a current contract with someone who's publishing ours, and so we're going to take some time to integrate this. But to me, it has a lot of opportunities. So, for example, people, what do they read your magazine for anyway now? Or what do they look at your magazine for, rather? Mostly the pictures, right? So we're going to create this month in pictures. So again, we're already posting to YouTube or to Instagram and Facebook and all these other things. So instead of me having to take more pictures to put in something different, I go to those things, I hit my little guy up in the corner, I say flip it, and I put it into there. And if I need to, I'll rearrange it. Much easier? So I would say, what items do you do in print that you would like to track views on or give it a new life? And if you haven't already been writing it down, do so now. So I have a few other things I just want to leave you with here. Start with Evernote. Again, I've been mentioning the Evernote item. If you got the little QR code scanner, the bacon, as it were, you can scan that. It'll take it to you. It's also available through the mobile app for the event, or you can go to fcbr.org/bacon, get it there. It's in a multitude of different places. So all of these resources, everything I've talked about. What I would say about Evernote, I'm assuming a lot of you are using it, right? Have you integrated into your committee or task group structure? If you haven't, I've given you a template. Again, just go to the shared note, and it's actually set up. It gives you a shared Evernote template that you can use for your committees and for your task groups and how you can utilize that. It is amazing if everybody has the same information, how much more productive they can be. Instead of 6 people taking notes in 6 different areas and never seeing it and then coming back together and we talk about what we thought we knew that we forgot about before we met the last time so we can meet again this time to figure it out. It's all in one place. And so go utilize that template. I'm using it more and more for interactions with my board of directors. It's really, there are so many utilizations that you can do with this, staff-wise, otherwise. Really encourage you to look into Evernote a little bit more. From a task thing, I'm an electronic guy now, but it took me about 3 years to find something that I could get away from my sticky note system. Like, how many of you got like 18 sticky notes on the desk right now? And they're like over the top of each other. And yeah, I was that. I'm the scratch it off guy, or at least like put a check mark, like I did something today. Accomplishment. I was that way, but I found Wunderlist, and it's my now virtual kind of little sticky note. And moreover, it's my staff's virtual sticky note now. Because I can assign out through my different departments. Again, if you pay to upgrade, there are different elements to this, like you can assign tasks, but nonetheless, in here you can create different groupings of things. Then in here is your list of things. Inside of that, you can set due dates, you can set reminders, you can set subtasks that can be checked off or not. This is, for example, my board of directors. I do this year over year now. I'm utilizing this, and so I can see what we did last year in our board of directors meeting, because a lot of times you go back and you do those same things. So I'll just come back in and uncheck that when we get there next year. And then any notes or anything down here, like with my communications director, if I find something that's got a URL that I want linked to, I'll drop that in there. So it's a great little tool and resource, and then when they click it and it goes away, you know it. Or you can, I love stars. They're just so empowering. This is important. I've got a star, right? They have that in this system, and so it's a great little thing, great little tool. It's called Wunderlist. WUNDER list, not WO. Chromecast. Who has it at home? Who has it at work? It's a great little tool at work if you, or even at a conference or an event. So there is a actual beta product on there where you can cast the whole screen from your laptop. So it essentially becomes a wireless hi-fi kind of opportunity. So for me, I was going to run like an HDMI cable like 30 feet. And I was like, why do that? Chromecast is like $35, and now I'm doing that through that. So it'll Chromecast the screen. So it's wireless. And if you're at an event, how many times have you been at an event where you wanted your laptop somewhere, but you couldn't because the cord was too short? So now you have this option, and it'll communicate that way. It links to the internet, so you do need some internet access in order to really be able to utilize it. Taxito. It's a word cloud type of thing. This is actually our footprint from 4 years of strategic planning when we were going through discussions about who we wanted to be when we grew up. And I still utilize it today. I've got a whole room worth of paper that I can put around the room, when I'm talking to my board of director members. But this I can actually go back to and utilize in a number of presentations. But the great thing about Taxito is you can do cool little, you can do your logo. You can put your own pictures in it. It'll take the word clouds and put it into that type of a structure. So it's a little prettier to share. All right, I think I'm about done here. So I really want you to think back now and use your star system. or whatever it is that you utilize. Find that one thing that you're going to apply. And I suggest you do it now. Because later you're going to have lunch and we're all going to have a good time and forget. So please do that. And I'll leave you with this. In the end, none of this matters. If it doesn't save you time, improve relationships, complement your job requirements, or enhance your level of professionalism, remember, it is all about the bacon, the people. And for those that didn't get the bacon, I'm sorry, but this is a thing for your association to think about. Sometimes not everyone getting everything is a good thing. It's good to have a red velvet rope in front of your association. Thank you all for your time.